Okay, great. So, how did things go over this past week? What questions are coming up? What reports do you have? How can I help?
I guess this is a um, continuation, or I'm going to repeat what I said last time, which I realized even more that the meta is a lot of work. So it's really difficult for me. I have to um, use a lot of discipline to start it, and then just within a second, it'll slip away, and I have to keep bringing up the image is what's hard over and over and over again. That when my mind wanders, it wanders away from the image. And so I guess my question is, for the people who have practiced it for years, did you say, without even too many results, what kept you going? How did you keep practicing?
Oh, okay, well, I think I can speak to it. So, you know, I practiced for years and years, and earlier on, I mean, practice itself was not very satisfying, like the actual act of meditation. But honestly, in my own case, immediately I saw some results. And to be clear, my experience, and I had tried a lot of other things to become a happier person because I was not very happy. So I'd been in psychotherapy for years. I had, tried a lot of other things, right? But I noticed that in contradistinction to other interventions, that meditation really made a difference in my daily life. Now it was minor, and maybe my suffering, let's say, was at a 10, but I noticed within a month of being dedicated to the practice, maybe it was at an 8, and then maybe it was at a 7 another few months later. So in a sense, what kept me going was hopelessness and desperation. I was hopeless regarding other, yeah, I was hopeless in terms of like other interventions. I tried, whatever. It didn't work. So I was like, well, this did work, and I just can't do anything else. So I kept going. And then let me just absolutely reiterate this. This bears repetition. So it doesn't matter what your actual meditation feels like. That's not the point. Now, also, that sucks, right? Because it'd be great if your meditation felt great as well. And I want that for everybody here. But what matters is that you're reprogramming the body and the mind, and that when you're in your daily life, you notice that there's more ease, there's more kindness towards self, there's more kindness towards others, there's patience, there's also an awareness, a quality of being with what is. That's what actually matters. And I can pretty much guarantee that 90% of the people in this call, if you do your practice, you will see the results in daily life, but your meditation itself might keep sucking for years to come. But in a sense, it doesn't matter. It's work. It's like this. Like if you're struggling with your meditation and then you're considering quitting because you're not enjoying your meditation, that's like saying, I go to the gym, and when I go there, I'm lifting weights and I keep getting exhausted. When am I going to find it more energizing and fun? No, 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 no. Expect that it sucks if need be. Although you might figure out how to enjoy it. And if you do, great. But what matters is in daily life, are you more energetic? Can you pick up heavier weights in daily life? Or is your strength better? That's what matters. Am I speaking to your question, Chris? Okay, fantastic. Great, great, great. Okay, I think there's a question in the chat. Let me look at it. All right, from Rory. I realized again that when trying to apply practice to everyday life situations, I should lower my expectations, targets to succeed, start small. Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, what matters in the practice is, are you inclining the mind? Are you trying? It doesn't matter what it feels like. It's just like, am I putting forth effort right now? There's a guy named Ajahn Jayasaru, a British monk in Thailand, and he talks about how Buddhism is an education system that trains you in effort. It is a training on effort. So it's all about just bringing effort to the present moment and trying to work with what's coming up. Okay. What other questions are coming up for people? Questions or comments and reports. Happy to hear about how things went.
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Yeah, I just like to comment on this meditation sucking, because yeah, this past week actually was very terrible for me for meditating. Actually, well, I can't even say how terrible it was, but anyway, I kept to it, and even though I knew that my meditation wasn't that very good, I could see the the results during my week, especially because the meditation sucked because my week sucked. So so meditating actually helped during the week as well. Not only the formal practices, but also the informal ones, and also the background practices.
Yeah.
They helped a lot this week.
Good report. That also reminds me. I was listening to a talk by George Haas last night, and George Haas with Meta Group, and he's a really good teacher. I'm going to write his name into the chat. George Haas with Meta Group, metagroup.org. His material is really good. He was talking about how years and years ago he went and did a 2-week retreat, and he said his normal the normal way that he would approach a retreat is, for the first, if it was a longer retreat, the first 2.5 days he would do nothing but concentration practice. So the practices that I'm going to be teaching today: breath concentration, counting the breath. And so what he would do is he'd sit and meditate and do concentration practice until he could count his breath up to 10 without missing one for 1 hour straight. And then he would go over to, let's say, metta or vipassana, etc. Well, he said that on this retreat, like, he went into the retreat all kind of screwed up mentally, not really with it. That during the whole retreat, he barely could get past 3. the whole 2 weeks. So just like meditating all day long, barely being able to get past the number 3 before having to start over with his breath counting. So his retreat of the meditation sucked terribly. But he said that about 6 weeks later, after getting off retreat, all of a sudden, he said, a big pool of sadness that had always been there in his life just evaporated. And so this is a really good story, an illustrating story of how you cannot judge the practice by how it feels. You judge it by the effects it has on your life. Okay, great. So here, Anastasia reports, I've enjoyed microhits, but I keep forgetting about background practice during work-related stress. Okay. But still, I feel less anxious in my everyday life. Okay, this is a great report, Anastasia. This is exactly what we want to see. And also, let me say that, like, the remembering to meditate, it's a habit, right? And the more you practice it, the more you're going to remember to do it. So keep going. You're doing well. Okay, also, Rory reports, what surprised me with metta was a particular post-sit physical lightness and lack of tension in my upper body. Great report. Great report. And let me just say a little bit more about metta. So really, in my view, there's a lot of benefits to doing metta. But when you're doing metta, you're retraining the procedural memory banks. You're reconditioning yourself so that you operate automatically from a better place, a kinder place, a more loving place. People with really good early childhood conditioning tend to operate from that place because they were greeted with love. They kind of really let this love this quality of parental love really penetrated deeply into them. And so those people act from a place of ease and love more frequently and more readily. But the good news is that no matter what our conditioning is as a child, by doing metta, we can recondition ourselves to come and operate from that place of love and kindness. And I want to be crystal clear about this. The way it manifests, how it manifests in daily life is not intentional or conceptual or cerebral. It is coming from a place, you're operating from procedural memory. So what we're doing is in the practice, we sit there and soak into the metta. And then that reconditions ourselves unconsciously. And then unconsciously, we act from that place in our daily lives. And that's what brings about the transformation. So it's not intentional. You don't need to be thinking in your daily life, act with metta. Now that's good if you do, but it'll work even if you forget. Okay, let's keep going. Steve reports, I wear a ring to remind me to meditate throughout the day. Fantastic. And you know what I like about what Steve is saying is he is figuring out what works for him. This practice needs to be done personally by you as a personal individual that's different from others. So figure out what works for you. So good work, Steve. Okay, from Jesus. 3 years doing metta. The meditation never was especially enjoyable, but radically changed self-hatred to self-kindness. Wow. Fantastic report. I'm actually going to copy this and keep this in my notes as a report. That is fantastic. I'm so happy to hear that, Jesus. Good. Okay, cool. What else is coming up for people? Any other questions? Okay. Let's assume not.